Hello, and welcome to another B.T.F.O. Today we're talking about the cleaner. Or actually, no, sorry. Today we're talking about cleaner. Because, yeah, it's not actually called the cleaner, it's called cleaner. Um, which is just a weird, like, if you can use it as an adjective, then, like, maybe don't use it as a noun. But Uh, this is a one of many 2025 action films that we're getting, which I like to call the 1 to 2 word title action films. And I guess technically there's a 3 word in there. But I believe it started with Love Hurts. Then there's Cleaner, followed by Novocaine, The Working Man, The Amateur, The Accountant 2, Nobody 2, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, and I'm sure that there's probably more that I either don't know of or have forgotten to mention. But I'm kind of excited this year just to see how many of these are good. And if you go back and you watch my B.T.F.O on Love Hurts, you'll know that I wasn't a huge fan of that. I think it's fine, but definitely like veering on the bad side of fine. And The Cleaner, I think, is kind of similar, where I think it veers on the good side of fine, but like ever so slightly. Like it is really close to that margin. And so it's basically framed as like Die Hard, but with Daisy Ridley. But it's kind of a weird, like, it's not a 1-to-1 Die Hard comparison, which I was glad about, where, like, Daisy Ridley is this kind of rebellious young woman who has taken a job as, like, a window cleaner, and I'm pretty sure, because I don't know exactly how it works in the UK, whether it would be considered part of your like free healthcare or not, but I was pretty sure the implication is that like the reason why she does that job is so that she can put she has a autistic like brother that she just sort of can't like take care of. Like she doesn't have either like the patience or the time to really maintain him, and so she like puts him in different like homes, I guess, like different like basically adult daycares. And so the plot starts off with like he has gotten kicked out of this most recent home because I guess he like hacked their system, because that's one of those autistic superpowers that he gets, is he is real good at hacking stuff. And he like, I guess he accuses the home of stealing money from him, and they're like, okay, you need to leave. So then she's forced to kind of take him into work with her. So then they're like, okay, go clean the windows. And it's kind of weird because like it does shift from daytime to nighttime really fast. It's like it's not impossible that it like could do that. It's just a weird way that they frame that. And like we get introduced to, which I thought was funny, there are 2 Star Wars actors in this. Of course, you got Daisy Ridley, but then You also have the guy who plays one of the two like brother executives of the company that she works at. He is from Andor right at the beginning. He's one of the guys that mugs Andor. And I thought it was kind of funny because it took me a second where I was like, I know him from somewhere. Oh yeah, that's where he's from. And like, I don't know, it's weird to kind of judge anyone's acting in this movie because it doesn't feel like anyone really gets a whole lot to do. Like the guy they get to play Noah, kind of, and Daisy Ridley, kind of, but like for the most part, their characters are pretty one note, which is one of the disappointing things about this movie, is that it's all fairly like one note and bland. Like there's a big twist at the beginning of the movie that it's like I'm trying to think of what the term is, but like they basically gave their hand away like pretty early on before the twist happens. So it's like, oh, okay, like, yeah, it's not really a twist, like you kind of told us that was gonna happen. But then like the twist of that is that because it's a group, so it's an energy company, and it's a group of eco-terrorists that come in to like take over, and their initial plan is just to like expose like this company, and like to get the CEOs on camera admitting that like they've been actually polluting the world and like doing all of these bad things. And then Noah just kind of goes crazy and like kills one of the CEOs, which they're like, dude, we needed him alive. And it's also weird because it's the second time in the movie where one of the terrorists like kills a person, and the other like terrorist people are like, hey, like, don't do that, like, don't be killing people. And it's like, I mean, like, these are eco-terrorists, like, because they talk about like, oh, like, we've stood in front of bulldozers or like been chained to trees and stuff, like, and it's like, yeah, so I don't know that any of them would just be super casual about like people dying around them. Like, that feels kind of like a step too far, where it's like, I feel like they might have a bit more of a reaction than, because like the first one is kind of funny, where they like break into the security room and the guy like kills the 3 security people that are there, and the lady's like, you didn't have to kill them. I was like, well, hold on, like, if the plan wasn't to kill them, then like, shouldn't you be like, dude, you're a fucking psycho, like, you need to go take a walk or something, like, I cannot be around you. But yeah, it's fairly generic from that point, because then, yeah, they have the twist that Noah is I think they call him like an anti-humanist or something, where he believes that like humanity is a blight on the planet and that we should all just be eliminated. And so his plan is to essentially blow everyone up along with himself. And like he puts a dead man switch on his arm, which they do, like, they give the context that like if he needs to take it off, he can. He's just got 5 seconds to like put it back on. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But so then, like, through a series of events, Daisy Ridley ends up getting back into the building, like ambushing several of the like people that run the terrorist group, And I did appreciate that the fight choreography, there's really only one moment that you could argue they like try to have Daisy Ridley overpower like one of these bigger guys. And even that, it's still very much like, no, it's an ambush and it's scrappy and he throws her around and like it's not like none of the fighting is pretty fighting, which I did appreciate. And like the fighting is probably the best looking part of the movie, because especially for how much of the movie is like people doing stuff on the computer, all of their like graphics for the computer are all like really bad, and like all of their news reports are like really amateur looking, and it's like, oh god, like that's, you know, I feel like we could have done a bit better, but oh well. But yeah, then she ends up like saving the day by she gets into a fight with Noah, which is kind of one of the like the hard parts of the movie to believe, where because like Noah believes that if he dies he's going to make himself a martyr, because everyone will find out like what happened with this company and like what they were doing, and that his death will bring attention to that. So they try and play with the idea that like, okay, well, if we pulled their confessions from the server before they've been able to like get uploaded, then like he won't kill himself yet. And it's like, that's okay, but I don't know, I feel like he might be like, you know what, I bet if I killed myself and all these people, they might look into what they were doing anyways, so screw it. But they do get in a fight, and like he throws Daisy Ridley around quite a bit, and it was kind of nice, at least for me, because I was thinking about it and like while it was happening, and I was like, well, if he's like doing all this, then his heart rate is like surely going up, so I guess the device just needs like a pulse, right? Like it's not specifically like heart rate encoded like the one in like Judge Dredd. It's like specifically for like it just needs a pulse. So I was like, oh, okay, so like yeah, in theory, if like somebody just took it off him and put it on, then it'd be fine. And like she ends up doing that, then like pushing him off the building, which is one of the things that kind of sucks, because they've got like a few times where people fall off of the building, but like none of those times are ever like shown in a way that's particularly fun, where it's like at least one of the bodies I would have liked if we could follow like all the way from where they like jump off the building to like the ground, or at least have one of them splat, but like none of them do that. It's like, okay, that's kind of lame. But yeah, overall, I wouldn't recommend this movie. I also wouldn't not recommend it. Like, if you really want to see it, sure. But if you're in the mood for like an action movie, it's like, yeah, there's countless others that I would put on before this. Yeah, it's nothing special in either a good way or a bad way. It's just sort of your generic action movie. And so it's like, it's alright. But so, yeah, I guess that's all my brief thoughts on The Cleaner. I hope you enjoyed, and bye-bye.